Hey, everybody. I'm Dr. Michelle May, the founder of Am I Hungry Mindful Eating Programs and Training, and the author of the Eat What You Love What You Eat book series. And I am so excited to introduce you to Wendy. I thought you might want to hear her process and how this has been and what's changed for her, because I know this mindful eating thing sounds a little like, what is this about and how can this help me? So, who better to share that with you than somebody who's experienced it for herself? So, Wendy, thank you so much for being here with me today.
No, I'm so pleased to be
Thank
here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Well, let me let you just dive in. Will you mind telling us a little bit about your story and your struggle with food and how you came to discover this process?
Sure. I have struggled with my weight and food for as long as I can remember, and food was always my friend. My first memory of dieting was my mom taking me to Weight Watchers, as we've talked about in a lot of our groups, when I was probably 10 years old. Yeah, although my mother just wanted to help me, I think her trying to help me uh, really put in my mind that there was something different and something wrong with me, making my value about the size of my body. And so in the days of Oprah with the wagon full of fat, I did a supervised fast. So eventually I had lap band surgery, and then I started to eat through it. And for 10 years, basically, it's like medically induced bulimia. Hadn't changed my eating habits at all
Mm.
until finally my lap band slipped and I needed to have it removed. So I went found a surgeon, a bariatric surgeon, and I went to his office and he said, "Why don't we do bypass surgery?" And I thought, well, okay, that'll be fine. So he was going to take out the lap band, and in order to get bypass surgery covered, you have to go through this process of taking all these classes. So I went through all the classes um, as they go through eating healthy and how important it was, and nutrition and how to. I mean, I could have taught the classes.
You could have taught
I'd
the
been on it.
class.
I'd been on every diet that you could possibly be on. I knew more about nutrition than just about anybody. How important exercise was, and my question to myself was, how am I going to be able to do this now? I've never been able to do it. Why would I start now? And so when I finally went to the surgeon's office to schedule the surgery, I decided against having the bariatric surgery. And he looked me right in the eye and said, "You'll be back," which was sort of this ominous, "You're not going to be able to do this. You're not going to be able to lose weight." And I thought, oh, yes, I can. I'm intelligent, successful, bright woman. I can do this. This is ridiculous. I don't need to have half my stomach amputated to manage this. And I really went into a deep depression. So I decided one last chance, one more thing I'm going to do. So I found a therapist and went searching online, and somehow, by the grace of God, clicked on a link and signed up for the Am I Hungry newsletter. And here I am.
Wow. Okay, we have to take a breath here. Okay, so your story is, by my calculation, some 65 years
Yeah.
of yo-yo dieting, of a tremendous focus on your body size as a measure of your self-worth and
Yeah.
capability, to the
Yeah.
point that even though you had an incredibly successful career that you retired from, you were still feeling shame
So
about your
much shame.
body and as a result about yourself because of your body.
Absolutely. The shame was really overwhelming because I had done so much in my life and been so successful and had so much, and I couldn't do this. I couldn't do in 6 decades. I couldn't conquer this.
Yeah, and the thing is you're not alone. I mean, so many people that I work with, whether it's been 5 years or 65 years, have a belief that they just need to find the right diet, get the right amount of willpower,
Mm,
do the right thing, and finally their life will be great. And day by day, year by year, their life is literally passing them by.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And you can feel it. Um, I knew that was happening, and I knew at some level I was really broken. There was something really wrong with me. First, I signed up pretty quickly for the level one. And in that first session, that screen full of faces, and I could not believe. I mean, all those people, bright, intelligent, successful people, um, most of them, I mean, I wasn't the oldest, I wasn't the youngest, you know? So I felt all of a sudden part of a community, which was pretty wonderful. And
So, what you're describing as level one is our highest level of our mindful eating support community. It includes live face to face workshops, usually facilitated by me, and it includes some group coaching and some individual coaching. And so it's usually done in a group format. We're doing it virtually. We started doing that during the pandemic, and I don't think I'll ever stop. It's been such a great way for people
Mhm.
to access this. And there you are with a screen full of people, and suddenly you're not alone anymore.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, say more. So what was that process like for you personally?
When I first met with you on an individual coaching, which was really valuable, and you were talking about the program and what it could be, and honestly, more than anything in the world, I wanted to believe you. I just, I thought if this is possible, and it seemed impossible. And I knew you didn't know that I was really irreparably broken, that I couldn't, you couldn't possibly understand where I was coming from. And so, but I hung on. I enjoyed the sessions. I liked what you had to say. In that first month, I got to know some of the people, really a wonderful group of people, and started a process within myself. And I think I was um, sort of grieving the possible loss of my best friend food,
Mm,
And then
mhm.
slowly started to take in the information that you were providing. It seemed so simple and so hard. This is it. This is, if I can't do this, I don't know what I'll do. I really didn't know what I would do.
What was the transition? So I heard sort of the fear of losing your friend food, which of course, we were never going, now we were never going to take your friend away from you. In fact, if anything, what I want for people is to be able to eat the foods they love and love the foods they eat. But it's understandable with something that feels so dramatically different, simple, but not easy. So how did you get from that place to where you are now, where you seem like you feel so much more peaceful? Talk to us a little bit about that.
And it was gradual. It wasn't like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to start this. It was just a slow transition of being aware of what I was eating. Um, the restriction thing was a game changer. And you had said that it would be, and it was.
So giving up restrictions,
Mhm,
stopping dieting, not
mhm,
using rules to guide you anymore, opened
mhm.
the door to really listening to yourself.
Absolutely. And it was scary at first. We talked in one of our level one sessions about bringing some food into the house and giving that a try, and it didn't go too well the first time. You know,
Sometimes it doesn't.
I brought it in and then I had it all. So, but slowly, I started to think I can have whatever I want. I literally filled my cupboards with food. started pulling out recipes, and cooking had gotten to be so hard. When you're on a diet and you can't eat anything, it's not fun to cook. If I thought about it, I really could eat anything I wanted. We've never eaten a lot of fast food, and I didn't gain weight eating good food. I struggled with binging, and all of the weight I gained was disordered eating. It wasn't eating healthy food and cooking good food and having it available. And so it was such a relief to be able to eat what I wanted. And one of my favorite things was, what do I want? What do I need? What do I have? And so I made it a point to have what I wanted, to the extent that I filled my cupboard with cookies and candy and things that I like, so that I could choose what I wanted, that I didn't eat it because it was there, and I didn't have to finish it all off because it was there. I could have what I wanted, and found very quickly that a little piece of chocolate or a little dish of ice cream was great. It tasted great. It tasted so good, I didn't have to feel guilty about it. And it lost its allure. It really did.
You told me, I'm just imagining the people listening to this thinking, oh, I could never do that. And you kind of told me that. You said,
Oh, yeah.
I never would have believed this was possible.
No, no. I just thought there is no way I can do this. And even still, I have to kind of pinch myself. The thing is, and I tried really hard. I like to overthink things, and I tried really hard to turn it into a diet I could fail at. But you get up every morning and it's a new day, and you can have whatever you want. There's nothing to fail at. It is just a matter of caring about yourself. And through this process, I really transformed how I felt about myself. I was able to, instead of being angry at myself, thinking I was a failure, thinking there was something wrong with me, I came to a point where I could say, wow, food was your friend. And it was a pretty good coping mechanism. There was so many things I could have done differently, and it was pretty smart. And so instead of being judgmental and angry and mean to myself, I started to appreciate where I had come from and how I had gotten through that, and realized, and I think the therapy that I had went hand in hand and really changed my image of myself, for myself, and how I present myself to the world. And so it's pretty easy to take care of yourself when you're in that mindset. I want to take care of myself, and it's easy to make good decisions about food, because I can eat what I want. And I want to feel good. I have so much to live for, so much richness in my life, and being out from under the burden of all that has just been really miraculous, really miraculous.
Wow, what a turn of events. I mean, really, to go from where you started just feeling in such a dark place and measuring your self-worth based on your body size, to be able to eat what you love and have the foods around and not be fearful, and most important, to free up your energy to live this life that you wanted, the life that you thought changing your body size was going to give you. You're claiming it right here, right now.
And really appreciating the life that I had. I mean, and have. I do. I have a wonderful life. And to miss that would be a shame. Would be.
But it happens all the time, Wendy. So many people, you did it for years, are postponing their life thinking they'll eventually figure out the right diet, or their bariatric surgery will work, or something will change. And, again, day by day, life is passing us by.
Absolutely. And then all of a sudden you get to a point where, and I'm not that old, but you can begin to see the end of your life. And I think, am I never going to get a hold of this? Will I never be in charge of this? And that was pretty overwhelming for me. So, and I just, it's great. It's the best thing ever. And I've had some ups and downs, we've talked about it in some of our group work, and but I learned so much from those experiences, and I go back and look at them and say, okay, what was going on? What were you trying to accomplish? And really have a new perspective on the decisions I make about food. I have figured out that food only is fuel. And so when I've had to come in touch with some feelings and some emotions, but when you're conscious about it, it's okay. It's all right to be in touch with those things, and actually really healing. I think it's if you don't push it down with food, then it's a lot easier to look at it straight in the eyes and deal with it. So it's I don't know. I just, every day is easier. I'm getting better at being mindlessly mindful. I said I'm a convert.
You're a convert.
I believe you. Everything you've ever said was true.
Well, but I do think I appreciate your honesty. I mean, I love that you're willing to share that this wasn't a linear path, right? It wasn't a straight line from, where you were. And again, this is one of the things that diet culture has lied to us about. They act like they're going to hand us this set of rules that we're suddenly going to be able to follow, even though we haven't been able to stick with any of them for years and years and years. And all that time, I don't know about you, Wendy, but I always thought it was my fault. I thought I was doing something wrong. I thought that I just wasn't getting it right. And for many people, that's where they get stuck, is feeling worse and worse and worse about themselves, as you were describing.
Yeah, I just didn't know what was wrong with me, and I thought there must be something really wrong because I wanted it so bad, and and I just could never get there. I failed time and time again, and certainly I had success and failures over the years. I've probably gained and lost 1,000 pounds in my life.
So I understand those decades long of defining yourself as successful or a failure based on whether you lost or gained weight. But where are you now with that?
Eventually, I got to a point where I don't care if I lose weight. I just can't keep gaining weight because I knew that would be really detrimental, mostly to my mental health, if I were to do that. And so I came to a point where I thought, I don't care if I lose weight. I just need to get out from under this obsession and this compulsion with food. And I find myself making choices because I want to feel good. And so I make those think, do I want to eat this or do I want to eat that? And I think this will make me feel better. And that's great. That's great. But I feel better, and eating healthy makes me feel better in terms of my body and inflammation and headaches, and I sleep great. And I've started walking 2 or 3 miles every day because I want to. And all of those things contribute to a healthy body. And I think my body will do what my body's going to do. And one of the things I'm learning, well, as I've said, we're very social. And, last week we had some sort of a meal function every single day. And so those used to be a nightmare for me if I was dieting. I mean, that was the end of a diet usually if you had a week like that. But to be able to get up the next day and think back on it and say to myself, this isn't about losing weight. This is about eating healthy. You did great. and move on. And it is a non-event. It is a non-event,
Hmm.
the wide path. And life gets in the way. And fortunately, we have a busy, happy social life, which I love. So,
Right. That doesn't sound like life's getting in the way. It sounds like you're right in the way of your life.
yeah, it's and every day I wake up and just want to have another day in this process because I feel really in charge of what I'm doing and how I'm eating, and food has less and less pull on me.
So you're, just for those listening, so you're about 4 months, a little over 4 months into the process.
Yeah, a little over 90 days, maybe. I've really been eating mindfully, and really utilized the tools heavily for a long time and find myself left thinking about it all the time. It's sort of a more natural, which is where you want to get, you go
Right.
from thinking
Right.
about food every minute of your life and regretting everything you eat to kind of a new place of thinking about food and how you're eating and what you're doing.
I also love how you share that, you can make a mistake and learn from it, that it doesn't have to be the end of whatever you're doing, because as we talk about, this is a wide path versus the tightrope of dieting, where one misstep and you've fallen off and you have to start over again.
Well, and it's so motivating. You don't wake up in the morning and think, I can't do this one more day. There's no reason not to do this one more day. You can have whatever you want. And who wouldn't want to eat this way? This is exactly what I've always wanted my
Well, and
whole
the
life.
irony of it is, when you can eat what you really want, you don't feel the compulsion to eat it all anymore. I
Mm-mm.
mean, that just sort of goes away. That's a hard concept for people to believe when they haven't
Yeah.
experienced it yet.
And I don't always get it. I think, now, why is this working? Why am I not polishing off, the bag of cookies in the cup? And I just don't want to. I feel so light and happy about where I am in this process. And
Mm.
I'm different in my relationships. I'm different in the world because I think I really adjusted my self-talk and real paradigm shift from, what's wrong with me, and I'm not good enough, and I'm not, to I'm great, I'm fine. Look, I'm just much more positive and self-acceptance,
Self-acceptance.
and
Yes. So, this, for those of you listening to this, I think we've covered a lot of ground here in this conversation, and I know that it can feel overwhelming. I want to be clear that it's not as simple as, eat when you're hungry, stop when you're full, fill your cabinets with all kinds of food and everything will be fine. I mean, this is a process. We have a blueprint that we teach you that helps you make decisions about your eating for yourself. But always our intention is to move the process from outside in, weighing, measuring, counting, logging food, and measuring your body on a scale, to inside out, listening to yourself, learning to trust yourself, being self-compassionate, which I'm hearing a lot of, Wendy, which is a big shift for you, and from our very early conversations, which I remember well, to a place of really trusting the process, trusting yourself, and living your life more fully, not
Right.
waiting for your life to begin when you finally have been successful, air quote, right?
Right. And really, one of the things you always said was trust the process, which I did. And that's so important, and was important to me, was very important to me, to just say, just do this, just keep going every day and trust the process. And if if this program can help me, it can help anybody, because I was really a lost cause.
In your
um,
mind.
in my mind. And I it's pretty miraculous. In a short period of time, really a short period of time.
You've had some big shifts. And I see it often. This is why I'm totally confident in bringing a group of people together on Zoom or in a retreat format, because I know you feel broken. I felt broken. I felt there was something really significantly wrong with me,
Mhm.
but I can see in you that you are not broken, but what we've been trying to do doesn't work, and it literally creates more problems and gets us stuck in a place that feels hopeless. So I don't know what link you clicked on, but I'm very grateful for that. And I'm so glad you found your way here, because you have just such joy and beauty to share with the world. And I am so glad that you're out there living your life fully, Wendy.
Well, thank you. It's an incredible program, and uh, you and your work is incredible. It is, and I think, you know,
Mm.
the world needs to see this, and I'm just so grateful. I don't have words for it. I really don't.
Well, I appreciate you sharing your words here. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. You told me that you had watched a video of a story from our
Mhm.
website of somebody who'd been through the process, and that really helped you. And so, if you've helped one person today, I think our time was well spent. So I'm very grateful that you took the time to share your story and to be so authentic and transparent and say, as you said, the things that often we don't say out loud, that have become very secretive and as a result very shameful, when
Right.
indeed we can heal our relationship with food and our
Yeah.
bodies and ourselves.
Well, I'm a believer.
Thank you so much for your time. And for any of you out there who want to have a conversation about this and want to know whether this might be something that could help you, please reach out to us. Our website is amihungry.com. There's a contact form there. Sign up for our newsletter, download the first chapter of Eat What You Love, Love What You Eat. Do whatever you need to take the next step to see if you can finally get out of that pit you might feel you're in, and see some light